The big farms, dependent on power for everything from milking machines to harvesting combines, will silently shut down, starving our people. The power industry is the foundation of our American civilization. From the massive hydroelectric dams and their generators to the hundreds of thousands of miles of power lines that stretch across the continent, to the local substations, to the transformers that hang on the pole down the street from your house, to the breaker box in your basement. All of this will be rendered useless. The electronics we use today are so much more complex and interdependent that the danger of one failure triggering another is higher than ever. We all know America has many enemies, but out of them all, we have to fear the worst. Today, our enemy is more prepared and more desperate than ever.
For 25 years, this fallen empire has constantly been shamed by the U.S. and its allies. But ever since Putin rose to power more than 15 years ago, Russia has been recuperating, covertly scheming new ways to get back into the game and take over the world. Its GDP doubled from oil exports, and for a while, Russia felt like a great power again, until the Ukrainian crisis broke out. And more than 50% of Russia's gas export was halted as the pipeline network that delivered the gas load to Europe was on Ukrainian territory. That's when Putin decided to play tough and demand almost double the gas price for the EU members who still depended on Russian energy. Threatening to cut off the gas supply if they didn't pay, this insane energy blackmail enraged the European Union, who found a way to reassure the member countries that world oil reserves from the US and its allies will support a gas supply deficit for a full 90 days. The crash in oil prices in the 80s destroyed the Soviet Union and kick-started its ultimate collapse in 1991. But the crisis they are facing now is far worse than any country has ever experienced. Going to war against the world to reclaim their oil and gas supremacy is something they can no longer afford to do. They're already too poor for that. Their only chance to win back territory is if America and its energy sector suddenly fall to the ground with no means of getting back up for the next decade. If that doesn't happen somehow, Putin will have to find a way to keep 140 million Russian people from going hungry and from overthrowing him. And he knows very well once he loses support of his own people, he's as good as dead.
But considering Russia's financial situation, they can't afford a traditional war. But slick as he is, he also knows how to turn this to his advantage. You may have heard those rumors on independent media that Putin is not actually attacking ISIS rebels in Syria as he promised he would. And why would he, when he can use their fanaticism and greed to his own best interests?
Разве вы не понимаете, кто там воюет? Там воюют наемники. В основном. Вы знаете, что там платят деньги? И они воюют там, где платят больше. Вот они вооружились, им платят определенную сумму. Мне даже называли эти суммы, которые им платят. Они там воюют уже с оружием, все, у них уже не отнимешь. Потом выяснилось, что в другом месте чуть-чуть начали больше платить. Они там туда перетекут.
It would be a piece of cake for Russia to pay small ISIS terrorist groups for setting off the smaller EMP attacks to turn off our interception systems, giving Russia enough time to steer their state-of-the-art submarine close enough to detonate the real EMP bomb. And considering how everybody hates ISIS and speculates that they are filthy rich from the oil trafficking across Syria, it will be a delight for Putin to blame the entire hit on them, while he will be the real winner of the situation. And although it may take a while for him to establish world supremacy, his primary goal, ensuring his survival and the supremacy of the Russian people, would have been accomplished brilliantly. Do you think our leaders would ever do the same to ensure our survival? Should we ever find ourselves in a situation such as Russia's?
Do you think that the power plants across the country have the protection that they need? No, absolutely not. The nuclear power plants, particularly if hit by an electromagnetic pulse, would melt down before too long, and you'd have disasters emanating from the nuclear power plants as well as from a lot of other sources. If you take out, by taking down the grid, if you take out the electrical system, everything else goes down too. We have 18 critical infrastructures in the country, and 17 of them depend on electricity. So you lose your communication system, you lose transportation, you lose your bank teller system for getting money. Nothing works.
And you were the head of the CIA. Our enemies know all this, correct?
I'm afraid they do. The Russians have told us that they, back in the early 90s, told the North Koreans a great deal about how to use an electromagnetic pulse detonation.
Think of it like this. Right now, our situation is worse than Russia's because our leaders wouldn't do whatever it takes to keep danger at bay. And while our military's interception system is reduced to a deaf and dumb condition, a quiet submarine approaches our waters close enough to set off the final blow that sends America back to the Dark Ages. Because all it takes is just one missile with an EMP weapon attached to it to be detonated above the United States, and the effects are irreversible. An EMP device strategically detonated at an altitude of 20 miles above land will permanently disintegrate our power grid and plunge America into silence and darkness indefinitely. Clogged streets, no public transport, grocery and convenience stores run out of food and emergency supplies before being completely torn down by hungry, desperate people. Financial systems crash, Wall Street, banks, ATMs, they're all cooked as the American economy drops offline. Hospitals all over the affected areas are scenes of chaos and carnage as backup generators and battery-powered systems slow down and die. Respirators, cardiac monitors, intravenous drip pumps, and dialysis machines all stop. Patients die. First by the scores, then by the hundreds, then by the thousands. Hordes of military police are deployed all over the country to maintain some sense of law and order, but they are soon overwhelmed by all the desperate people fighting for their lives. And they realize it's beyond their power to control this world quickly spiraling out of control. They will have to take the U.S. out with just one hit. So our only hope now is people like you and me, real Americans who care about our families and our lands, and will do everything in our power to make sure we remain alive and proud. As I told you a few minutes earlier, I'm part of a team of scientists and survival experts who are willing to sacrifice everything to be able to deliver this right knowledge to all American families out there, so that we as a nation may still have a future ahead of us. The people you saw in this presentation and a few more brilliant minds have gathered all of the crucial intelligence required to survive the coming mayhem. And we are now in a hurry to spread the word and save as many people as possible. Now, our own resources are depleting fast, but with the help from outstanding citizens like yourself and others, we've managed to keep this site up and running for now. But we don't know how long it is until our efforts are sabotaged by the ones who try to keep this hidden from the world, whether it is the Russian Secret Service or our own, who might try to take us down. But as it may, now, at this very moment, you still have a chance to grab the life-saving information we put aside for you and use it to survive and thrive through the utter destruction of the American nation. We named this life-saving program Jumpstart Liberty, because that's our promise to you and your loved ones. With the singular information gathered here, you can simply jumpstart your way to freedom and never fall prey to desperation, hunger, poverty, disease, and all the hell that will bestow upon our lands. Jumpstart Liberty will show you that having no industrialized energy production is not the end of the world. On the contrary, it can be the beginning of a new, even better existence.